I just finished episode 2 of Hard Knocks, and I wish it was a little bit longer, but overall, I think it was a pretty decent episode. I think episode 1 was definitely better. I'm hoping as we get more into the episodes like 3, 4, and 5, there's a little bit more substance there. I felt this one was kind of light on like things that actually mattered, but we still are in the earlier days of preseason. But before I get into it, as always, if you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like. Let me know what your favorite moment from this episode of Hard Knocks was. So let's just start it out. I thought my first initial thought of something that I really thought was cool in the episode is when they were kind of breaking down the ref crews to Caleb, and maybe a part they didn't show us that I would imagine they probably went into is they probably broke down the ref crews, or like at least the one he was seeing, and when they played the Bills, and was probably telling them like, yo, they call this, they call this, they call this, they don't call this. Like, I think that's definitely something that fans may not think about, but this is something like everything that goes into Sunday, like, is deeply planned out when it comes to refs, like field surface, like all that stuff. Like, there's so many other things that I can't even think of at this moment, but it was just kind of a cool look behind the curtains of teams really do, analyze who's going to be out there controlling the game when it comes to the referees. And I think it was interesting that one of the Bears personnel made a point that it's like, you're going to see these guys over the span of your career. So make sure they don't hate you. And I wouldn't really worry about that with Caleb, but I think it is, like I said, a cool look behind the curtains. Yeah, so also with the performances, the rookie performances, Rome's performance was definitely 100% better than Caleb's. I thought that was pretty funny. And the part about Valus owning a ferret named Crash with Michael Pittman Jr. is probably one of the weirdest things I have ever heard. And was not expecting a Hard Knocks. I really like Michael Pittman, and I did not have him owning a ferret with Valus Jones. I could not bet my life on ever hearing that sentence. But kind of to stick on Valus, I know when it got into the game, because this is all, all of this is going to be really one long thought, because outside of practice and the game, there really wasn't anything else to it. And just to get on the Valus point, okay, so you saw he was struggling a little bit in practice, and obviously it's a brand new position for him, so anyone would struggle, right? But after seeing Ian Wheeler's performance, and I understand he's an undrafted free agent, and Valus Jones was a third-round pick however many years ago, 2 years ago, I want to say, 3 years ago. Is Valus better than him? Like, can Valus provide more than what Ian Wheeler could provide on this roster? If you look at Valus, he muffed the kickoff. Valus has not been able to kick return. He has not been able to punt return. I mean, kickoff better than punt. I'll say that. But, like, he muffed the kickoff return. And it's like, do you really want to put the ball in his hands when he could turn it over in a crucial game when it comes to kick return? I don't know if I trust that. And while I think the running back thing is probably his best saving grace to make the roster, Ian Wheeler looked better. And Ian Wheeler was fast as shit. He was so fast. Like, I'm willing to bet that Ian Wheeler will probably make this team just because, they don't really have a burner in the backfield, right? Like, Swift is quick and he's fast, but Wheeler is like a burner, something that like Herbert and Roschon Johnson do not provide. So are they going to keep 5 running backs? I really doubt that. And I see it as Swift, Herbert, Rojo. They're not giving up on Rojo. And then it would probably be Ian Wheeler. But I also think, if you have Valus, you can put him in the running back 4 spot. He's also a receiver. He's also contributing on special teams. So maybe he does bring more value there. But I do think Ian Wheeler would be a pretty good addition to the Chicago Bears, just because of the versatility that he can give you in the running back room. Now, granted, Velus may be able to give more versatility in other areas of the team. But at the end of the day, I don't know how many chances they're going to keep giving Velus. I already feel like he's on the roster bubble. I think he'll probably make the team because he is a draft pick. But it's just kind of gotten to the point with him where it's just kind of frustrating to see him still make mistakes. And it's just like, I don't know, this team has gotten pretty good. And I don't know if he is going to be good enough to make the roster, especially when, and we know the running back position, they can come from wherever in the draft. Like, that's one of the most wild card positions in the NFL where it's like you don't need to be taken in the first round to be a successful running back. It's more about the scheme. It's more about the blocking. It's more about, this opportunity and that you're going into, the situation you're going into. So I don't know. I'm going to be really interested to see what happens with Velus this year, where they play him. Next part, Jalen Johnson is legit. Jalen Johnson is one of the most legit and underrated corners in the NFL. To hold Keenan Allen for most of camp so far without a catch is actually insane when you consider everything that Keenan Allen has done. And I just got up red. I just turned red because I'm looking up the Jalen Johnson contract. Because if you look at the numbers, it's actually quite a steal compared to how good of a player he is, right? So, it just brought up Jalen Johnson for the Bulls. It's not right. But anyway, I believe it's like 17 mil a year, 17, 19 mil a year. And he is worth that. He is worth every penny of that. And to have that as to be one of your best defensive players when you have young ascending stars like Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, you have Kevin Byard in the secondary, like this Bears secondary with Jalen Johnson can easily be, in my opinion, like a top 3 unit. So it's so exciting to see also the development of Austin Booker, because we know the weaknesses of this team are probably the interior of the offensive line and the defensive line. You have Montez Sweat. You hope Javon Dexter can take a step. You hope Zach Pickens can take a step. I'm not too confident on him. I'm more confident in Javon. But what Austin Booker has been able to show, if he can provide that pass rush, and yes, DeMarcus Walker can contribute, but I'm not counting on him to make like this huge difference. If Austin Booker can provide pass rush and even be decent on the run, on run defense, this team completely changes. Like if Javon Dexter can take that step, Austin Booker can provide pass rush, this defensive line is a lot better than a lot of people think, especially with Montez Sweat on the other side. So with that being said, if the corner room and secondary group is as good as people think it is, and this D-line plays better than people expect, this defense was top 5 last year at the end of the year. Why can't this defense be top 3? I think that is going to be, I don't want to say underrated storylines, but I just don't think it's talked about enough. Like when you listen to the media, people aren't going to be talking about the Bears defense, and defense is more volatile in my opinion than offense year to year. But I think the core has remained the same. They're young and they've gotten better at every game. I don't want to say every game, most games. So it's almost like, why would the hope not be there that they could be a top unit? And then this was a shorter episode, so I'll kind of just, wrap it up here. I'm very interested to see what happens with Austin Reed. He looks very, very natural on the field when he plays. It feels like he has a very natural feel for the game. And you can keep Brett Rippon, who played well, right, and this is the third quarterback, right? And Austin Reed could very well be cut and signed to the practice squad. I know a lot of people flip out and they're like, well, if we cut him, someone else is going to sign him. Most of these guys go to the practice squad for a reason. And I really do like the approach of taking developmental quarterbacks and really just seeing what you have. I mean, Caleb looks the part. I think that was another thing that I noticed is he just looks the part, plays the part of the leader quarterback like everyone's expected him to be. But you don't know if he's going to work out 100%, right? So when you have developmental guys like Tyson Bagent or Austin Reed, like they could turn out to be somebody that you would never have expected. It's the NFL. So I think I really liked how Austin Reed has played when I've seen him play. I know it was limited in the Hall of Fame game, but if Austin Reed can be like a decent player for you, I don't really know why you keep Brett Rippon other than the fact that he's a vet. But the way I look at it is like, if Caleb Williams goes down, Tyson Bagent and Brett Rippon aren't saving the year. So I would rather have Austin Reed, a developmental quarterback, on the roster. That's just my opinion. But just to top it off, like Caleb has been, I think everything Bears fans has wanted him to be, and even more, I guess. And more in a sense of like, if you weren't over expecting, like he over delivered what I expected on Saturday. And that's good. I don't want to get expectations too high for myself, but I think I'm allowing myself a little bit more to be like excited for the year. I think I've been trying to contain my excitement, but after seeing what I saw, if he can keep that up, I know it's preseason, but it just, you know when it's preseason and people just put up stats and you're like, oh, okay. Like, it's not like that. Like, it just looks too natural, too smooth to him. But that's pretty much all I had from this Hard Knocks episode. Like I said, I liked episode 1 better. But overall, I think this was just kind of like, I don't know, like a holdover episode until next episode. Also, fuck HBO for the delay. That sucked. I was sitting there ready to go. But anyway, if you don't know ball, if you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, let me know in the comments what your favorite part of Hard Knocks was this time around. And let me know in the comments also if you think Velus Jones is going to make the team. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night.